Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 6, chapter number 10, text number 9. Etavanavyayo dharmaha punya shlokerupashitaha yo bhuta shoka harshabhyam atma shochati hrishyati. Translation. If one is unhappy to see the distress of other living beings and happy to see their happiness, his religious principles are appreciated as imperishable by exalted persons who are considered pious and benevolent. Translation with repetition. If one is unhappy to see the distress of other living beings and happy to see their happiness, his religious principles are appreciated as imperishable by exalted persons who are considered pious and benevolent. Purport. One generally follows different types of religious principles or performs various occupational duties according to the body given to him by the modes of material nature. In this verse, however, real religious principles are explained. Everyone should be unhappy to see others in distress and happy to see others happy. Atmavad sarva bhuteshu. One should feel the happiness and distress of others as his own. It is on this basis that the Buddhist religious principles of non-violence, ahimsa paramo dharma, is established. We feel pain when someone disturbs us, and therefore we should not inflict pain upon other living beings. Lord Buddha's mission was to stop unnecessary animal killing, and therefore he preached that the great religious principle is non-violence. One cannot continue killing animals at the same time be a religious man. That is the greatest hypocrisy. Jesus Christ said, "Do not kill," but hypocrites nevertheless maintain thousands of slaughterhouses while posing as Christians. Such hypocrisy is condemned in this verse. One should be happy to see others happy, and one should be unhappy to see others unhappy. This is the principle to be followed. Unfortunately, at the present moment, so-called philanthropists and humanitarians advocate the happiness of humanity at the cost of the lives of poor animals. That is not recommended herein. This verse clearly says that one should be compassionate to all living beings, all living entities. Regardless of whether human, animal, tree or plant, all living entities are son of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Shri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 14.4, Sarva yonishu kaunteya murteya sambhavanti ya tasam brahma mahad yonir aham bija pradapitaha. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. The different forms of these living entities are only their external dresses. Every living being is actually a spirit soul, a part and parcel of God. Therefore, one should not favor only one kind of living being. A Vaishnava sees all living entities as part and parcel of God. As the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 5:18 and 18:54, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunischaiva Sopakecha Pandita Sarmadarshinaha. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and a gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. Brahmabhuta prasanna atmana shochati nakankshati samasarve bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. One who is transcendently situated at one realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. A Vaishnava, therefore, is truly a perfect person because he laments to see others unhappy and feels joy at seeing others happy. A Vaishnava is para dukha dukhi. He is always unhappy to see the conditioned soul in an unhappy state of materialism. Therefore, Vaishnava is always busy preaching Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. We were on a long drive, and generally we see lorries, big trucks on highways. And invariably on those lorries, trucks, something is written. Some catchy sentences. Buri nazar wale tera muh kala. I remember having seen one very nice sentence. It struck me, and this is in line with what this verse is saying. It was written in Hindi, इंसान को, everyone hear carefully, इंसान को अपने दुख से इतना दुख नहीं होता जितना कि दूसरों के सुख से. A Vaishnava is para dukha dukhi, and a non-devotee is para dukha sukhi. And we all are trying to become Vaishnavas. The traits of a Vaishnava are still there. And what are the traits? Para dukha sukhi. And these traits become manifest when we are living in a community. In our daily interactions, in our dealings. In the stock market, some of you probably may be aware, there are different kinds of investment options. There are some investment options, the risk is almost nil. You'll never lose money. But the returns are almost what the banks give, saving account. But there are also stock options where your money can double in 5 days. But you can lose the entire money in 1 day. That is the kind of risk. More the risk, more the gain. So in Vaishnava community, when we are living, we have a great advantage. We can advance in leaps and bounds. Why? Because we have great opportunity to serve Vaishnavas, please Vaishnavas, get the blessings of Vaishnava. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado. We sing this for Prabhupada, but it's not just Prabhupada, all devotees also. We are also devotees, we are Vaishnavas. So when we please other Vaishnavas, that's why in line with this in Vedic culture, Vaishnava Bhoj. Why? Because you please the Vaishnava, please a Brahmana. God eats through the mouth of a Brahmana. So we have great opportunity every day, at every moment to please the Vaishnavas. And we can advance in leaps and bounds by getting their blessings, by getting their mercy, by pleasing them. But it can also be risky if we are not careful, because we can displease them also. Which is also called Vaishnava Aparadh. So like a stock market, I gave example, you can multiply manyfold, but risk also is there. So we have to be cautious, careful. For Durvasa Muni, it was one devotee, Ambarish Maharaj. But for us, so many Ambarish Maharaj. We should not think we are Ambarish Maharaj, but so many devotees around us. Every day, every moment we have dealings with them. Every moment is an opportunity to please them or displease them. Every interaction, if you see, is an opportunity. Now we get out, we go for prasadam. Prabhu, can I serve you? It's an opportunity to please. It's also an opportunity to displease. Somebody asks something and for some reason we are not in a good mood and we speak harshly, we deal harshly, or somebody dealt with us harshly and we feel offended and our relationships become sour and for days together, for months together, we don't talk to each other. So, this requires every dealing, if we are humble, if we are cultivating humility, cultivating the perception how I can please the Vaishnava. Prabhupada says, when we call ourselves Prabhu, that is not just for the heck of calling. Prabhu means he is master, I am your servant. That should be the background consciousness. In a community at a Vyavaharik level, we'll have designations. Somebody is senior devotee, somebody is junior devotee, somebody is vice president. But at a heart, at a conscious level, we should know I am the servant. Even if I am a leader, I am servant. Servant leader. Srila Prabhupada once was in Los Angeles and Shyam Sundar Prabhu, one of the early disciples of Srila Prabhupada, he used to bring many eminent people to meet Prabhupada. So one time he invited some priests. So they came and they were sitting with Srila Prabhupada and some nuns also came. So the priests who had come early, they introduced Srila Prabhupada to the nuns and said, he is the spiritual master of all these devotees. So Prabhupada immediately, no, I am not the spiritual master, I am the spiritual servant. Although Prabhupada, yes, Guru Puja happened, but in his heart, in his consciousness, even though he may be using harsh words, he may be chastising his disciple, it was in the mood of serving the devotees. Sometimes superficially we can get mistaken. Prabhupada using harsh words, sometimes people can feel he's arrogant, he's proud. But what's going on in the heart of Srila Prabhupada, you see in Jaladuta Dairy, Prabhupada never thought that this Jaladuta Dairy one day will be published, world over people will be reading the content. No, people never thought. It was written just, it was a personal dairy. And what is Prabhupada's writing? The innermost consciousness, his thinking, his feeling is manifesting in those words. Oh Lord, I have no power to preach. I have no knowledge. I am a puppet in your hand. Make me dance the way you want me to dance. And then he signs off, the most insignificant beggar. Beggar is already insignificant. Insignificant beggar. Among beggars also there can be a proud beggar. Insignificant beggar. That was his mood. In a community when we are living, we can get lost at times in the rituals. One of the offenses is to follow the rules and regulations for the heck of following. Srila Prabhupada was very humble. In the early days when the first initiation ceremony was happening, So he had instructed, all of them were very new to Krishna consciousness, just 1 year, 2 year. Which year the first initiation happened? 60s. Okay. So they may be hardly just 6 months. So they were all foreigners. No idea of Indian culture, have never seen a yajna. We all, as Indians, it's all part of our, even if yajna in ISKCON may be new to us, but it's very common. Fire sacrifice. We have seen it many times. So for them it was completely a new thing. First time they're going to participate and be part of, and they were also entrusted the task of making arrangements. So Prabhupada explained there will be a fire sacrifice, a kund has to be made like this, we can get the bricks together, and he explained the details. And some of them, to the best of their understanding, because they have never seen a yajna, so they tried arranging things. On the day of initiation, when Prabhupada came to the temple hall or to the room wherever that initiation was happening, Prabhupada was visibly upset. No arrangements properly made. They have not understood what is a yajna, what has to be done. And Prabhupada was upset. To the extent he was a little angry at them. So then Prabhupada said, yajna is there and no samagri, you have to make some offerings, ghee, clarified butter, fruits, arrangements, flowers. Nothing was there. So where are the fruits? Yes, Prabhupada. And one devotee went to the kitchen and after 3 minutes came back with a plate cut fruits. Prabhupada fruits. Prabhupada became even more angry. And then one visitor, who was a foreigner, hippie, he was there, and whenever he would come for Sunday love feast. So whenever devotees, he would observe, so he would say, anybody who is disturbed, anybody who is upset, anybody who is angry, they would say, chant Hare Krishna, be happy. So that hippie came to Prabhupada, seeing that Prabhupada is upset, and told Prabhupada, chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada, yes, took his hand in the beads, took out the bead, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Prabhupada could have got offended. Who are you? Who are you? Sometimes this thought comes in, who are you to tell me this? Prabhupada, an exalted devotee, and a mlecha, hippie is coming and saying, chant Hare Krishna. So many instances will come in our lives when we can get offended and tit for tat. We can be in a mood of, I'll give back. A yantra from the innermost core is speaking, I'll give back. Revenge. Sometimes revenge we cannot take externally because some do's and don'ts are there. But deep within there is ill feelings, hatred, brewing. And how does it manifest? Coldness in relationship. I will not talk to that person. What does he think of himself? And many times, if we are not disciplined in our thinking, in managing our feelings, in managing our thinking, feeling, and willing, we can commit offenses. We can even use harsh words. And as I mentioned, we have opportunity to please Vaishnavas, we have opportunity even to displease Vaishnavas. I came across a very nice article which talked about, which I have shared in my previous sessions also. It's very interesting. Some of you probably would have heard about. It's called the knowing-doing gap. Many times there is a gap between knowing and doing. For example, we know that we have to chant attentively, but there's a gap between knowing and doing. We know that we have to please Vaishnavas, we have to be tolerant, but there is a knowing-doing gap. We know that we should not overeat. We know that we should get up early in the morning. We know that. We even decide. We even set alarm. We make a resolve. But morning when the alarm rings, knowing-doing gap gets triggered. So in every area, if you see, there is a knowing-doing gap. And the reason there can be many reasons why this gap is there. It can be our samskaras, it can be we know that I should not get angry. We know that I should not get upset. I should be tolerant. But there can be knowing-doing gap. And there can be many reasons. It can be our upbringing. First 7 years of our upbringing is very crucial. Our subconscious mind gets programmed. Everyone has programs. That's how we all behave differently. Same circumstances, same situation, same triggers, we act differently. So the programs, the conditioning, the upbringing, the samskaras, the vasanas, present circumstances, somebody is angry, smriti vibhramas, buddhi nasho, already somebody is upset, or somebody is very tired, circumstantially on that particular day, or the modes, prakriti gunai karmani sarvashaha, that particular day we are in tamoguna, slept for 9 hours, very tamasic state of consciousness. So we can act out in certain ways which later on we regret. I shouldn't be doing like this. I shouldn't have done like that. I shouldn't have spoken like this. I shouldn't have dealt like that. In that moment, different forces were in play. Even Lord understands, Prabhupada understands, everything is not in our control. Genetics. So, when we realize that I have made a mistake, which can happen to us as human, we can lose temper, we can use harsh words, we can be intolerant, we can be impatient, we can treat someone harshly, we can end up using foul words. When we realize that we have done a mistake, may not be at that particular moment, maybe a few minutes later or few hours later, what we do then is very important. Today, if you decide, I will not speak harshly to devotees, you cannot, there will be knowing-doing gap. It takes time for the nature to change. If by nature you are short-tempered, it will get triggered. Some circumstance, anger will get triggered. That's why we have to practice Krishna consciousness enthusiastically, with patience and determination. That's why sometimes people wonder why after so many years he is not changing. Again, where he started from, that's important. Everyone's starting point is different. Everyone's vasanas is different. Upbringing is different. Programming is different. DNA is different. Circumstances are different. So when we realize, that's why they say it's always good we beg forgiveness. If we realize that I have done a mistake, I offended someone, I have displeased someone, I shouldn't have spoken like this, always go and humbly. Then ego should not come in. Why I should? Last time also I only, this time he should bend. No. We should be always willing to beg forgiveness. Many times we, at a material, vyavaharik level, we fall in the trap of seeking fairness, seeking justice. Or mind may even come up with that, it's not my fault, it was his fault, he did it. Why I should ask forgiveness? Actually, if you analyze in this world, at a vyavaharik level, the foundation itself is very unfair. Just at a vyavaharik. Karmic level, there is perfect justice. Everyone is getting what is due to him. Karmic level, there is perfect justice. But at a vyavaharik level, everyone, somebody is born brilliant, intelligent, somebody is born buddhu, cannot understand things, cannot pass 5th class. Somebody is handsome, somebody is ugly. Where is fairness? Only when we understand the soul, Atma, many lives, karmic reaction, you can reconcile everything. But for 99% who don't understand all this philosophical, this thing, where is fairness? So we also should know there is perfect justice. Everyone is getting what is due to us. So we should not fall in the trap of material fairness. Sometimes devotees can fall in that trap. Material fairness. Why? Why it happened to him? Why not me? Even I worked hard. And we will not fall in the trap if at a very consciousness level we are humble. Even if there is an apparent unfairness, what is Bhagavatam saying? It is not just Bhagavatam philosophy, Bhagavad Gita philosophy is not an armchair philosophy. Armchair philosophy means good to read and feel good. Feel good that I have read half an hour. It is meant for practical application. All these pastimes we understand of here of these great devotees, how they acted, how they behaved, how they thought. How Chitraketu thought when he was cursed by Mother Parvati. How Parikshit Maharaj thought when he was cursed by Shringi, the Brahmana boy. How Prahlad Maharaj thought when he was very unfairly treated by his father. How did he act? How did he behave? So we also have to, no doubt, we cannot imitate, but we have to take inspiration. Follow in their footsteps. Be humble. And what is Bhagavatam saying? I tell devotees, this is a Brahmastra. If we are caught up in this unfairness, how did he do that to me? Why it happened to me? The mind can trap us. Bhagavatam, this is a Brahmastra. Brahmastra means when all other weapons, atomic bombs, the last resort. You throw everything is over. The Brahmastra, Bhagavatam is saying, that verse, if we can somehow apply it in all situations where we are feeling offended, as a result we are not able to forgive, not able to forget, our mind is brewing with anger, and then we are waiting when I can take revenge. The Brahmastra is Tatya Anukampam Susumikshama Bhunjana Evatma Kritam Vipakam. It's my doing. My mind may not be able to understand why I am getting what I am getting, but at a karmic level, what Krishna is sanctioning is for my good. I deserve it. In fact, I deserve much more. If we are having this consciousness, then so-called, injustice, so-called unpleasant experiences, so-called, somebody did something bad to me, somebody spoke harsh words, somebody gave a sarcastic comment, somebody criticized me, all that can be easily taken in stride. Otherwise, sometimes it can become, lot of unpleasantness can accumulate, an avalanche effect can happen. So if we have all these things taken in stride, this whatever we are reading, whatever we are hearing, all these leelas of great devotees, we take it in stride, keep it in our consciousness, we can sail through very smoothly. Susukum kartum avyayam. This path can be very joyfully, this process can be very joyfully performed. All of us have heard about Jayananda Prabhu. Prabhupada liked him a lot because of his humility. He was always there, serving devotees, pleasing devotees, executing the orders of Prabhupada. So one time when Srila Prabhupada came, there was a Rath Yatra, and all the devotees were waiting when Prabhupada would come, and there was a small room where Prabhupada was supposed to come and Guru Puja was supposed to happen. Jam-packed. All the devotees had gathered, waited for Prabhupada to come in so that Prabhupada, in an arrival address, he could speak to the devotees. So everyone was in that room waiting. And then when Prabhupada came, loud kirtan happened, and then they sat down and, eagerly waiting for Prabhupada to speak. So Prabhupada came, he was very pleased. The devotees' kirtan was happening, and then he sat down, was about to speak. He saw all around, all the devotees very enthusiastic, very joyful, eagerly waiting for Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada looked around, and then he said, "Where is Jayananda?" So Prabhupada said, "Call him." So Prabhupada waited for Jayananda. So one devotee went out, after 5 minutes came back, and Jayananda Prabhu also came. And his hand was full of grease. He was in the cart, that Ratha. And he was a little shy also because all his clothes were also dirty, grease and all that thing. So Prabhupada waited till Jayananda Prabhu came. And then he spoke. And then even appreciated Jayananda Prabhu. So, we as devotees, if we are in a mood of serving Vaishnavas, being in the background, pray to the Lord if required. I don't want to come in limelight. Let me be a humble, simple devotee. Be in the background. Let me serve other Vaishnavas. That is pleasing to Prabhupada. That is pleasing to Krishna. Prabhupada also mentioned that, many times devotees, they were always around Prabhupada. In fact, some of the devotees they were always traveling with Prabhupada. Wherever Prabhupada would go, they would also travel with him for devotees association, Prabhupada association. Proper understanding of philosophy is, if we want to please Prabhupada, we want to please by following his instructions. We have heard quite often, Bapu Seva and Vani Seva. Prabhupada has a mission. He has given his instructions. He has given what pleases him. I'll be very happy if you all cooperate among yourselves. if we are serving, if we are pleasing other Vaishnavas, if we are cooperating with each other, if we have loving relationship among Vaishnavas, it will be very pleasing to Prabhupada. If we are doing assigned services very nicely, we are humble, we are in the background, we are not seeking limelight, we are not seeking power, position, it will be very pleasing to Prabhupada. We have come here to advance in Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we end up comparing with other devotees. He got this facility, he got that facility. In fact, we should just compare, not compare with others. We should compare, am I progressing? What was I 2 years back? What was I 5 years back? Am I becoming better? Am I becoming humbler? Am I becoming more meek? Am I becoming more tolerant? Am I becoming more forgiving? Am I becoming more kind, more compassionate? Am I becoming more para dukha dukhi? Do I feel hurt when others are hurt? Do I feel unhappy when others are unhappy? Or I continue to remain para dukha sukhi? So this introspection, this some kind of assessment, some kind of evaluation has to go on an ongoing basis. Some of you would have heard about, management, there is a cycle called Deming cycle. Deming. It's a process of continual improvement. Plan, do, check, act. Act and check. And it should go in cycle. Plan, do, act, check. We may not follow that principle, but then we are acting. We are planning a morning sadhana, how we can remember Krishna, how we can please Vaishnavas, how we can always remain humble, how we can be tolerant, how we can be patient. Do. We should check. At times we may fail. There may be knowing-doing gap, which is understandable. Everyone's nature is different. What do we do after that? Do we incorporate that in our next planning? The same instance, the same circumstance, same situation, same triggers. Do I act differently? Have I learnt my lessons? Have I learned from my mistakes? Am I becoming better? Otherwise, the same thing can repeat. Same errors, same mistakes. Mistake is not a mistake. They say, there's a very nice saying, mistake is not a mistake. Error is not an error. If two things happen. First, we are willing to admit it's a mistake. I messed up. I made a mistake. It requires humility. And second, learn from it. If both the components are missing, then it's genuinely a mistake. Otherwise, yes, beg forgiveness. I made a mistake. I am sorry. Admit, be humble enough to admit, and learn from it. If we learn, then we can become better. In English, there is a saying, feedback is a breakfast of champions. Many times we are reluctant to hear any criticism against us. Even though that criticism may be right, even though it may be true. There's a natural repulsion. It's said that Hitler was so arrogant. In fact, one of the reasons why he lost, he was never willing to accept his mistake. He cannot be wrong. Even his close, trusted lieutenants would come and try to say, here you're going wrong, you're not able to see, it's your blind spot. But he would get them executed. Well-wisher means he should praise me. There was a devotee who gave a class, very nice class. He said, See, all what we are practicing here, chanting, reading, hearing Bhagavatam, Darshanarti, Mangalarti, actually if you see, technically it's possible to do from home. You can hear these days Mangalarti, you can participate from your home, online. In fact, deities zoom in, zoom out. You get much bigger views, much better views. There's a person every day without fail in Bombay, every day without fail he attends the Mangalarti here. Including that reading of that Prabhupada quote, Tulsi Puja, everything. The entire morning program he attends online. Bhagavatam class, live. Hope it is live. It is live? Everything can be done from home. Deity worship, offering prasadam, honoring prasadam. One thing cannot happen from home. Can anyone tell what cannot happen from home? One thing cannot happen from home. Is someone pointing out your mistake. And if you're not willing to admit and not reluctant to take any feedback, and we get offended, who are you to tell me? Then the great opportunity of improving. In fact, sometimes it so happens when we see some devotee is very sensitive and we know that he will get disturbed, he'll get agitated, we are reluctant sometimes to give feedback. Some devotees who are nicely situated, very on his face you can tell, Prabhu, this is wrong. Yes, Prabhu. So, when someone points out our mistake, someone gives feedback, broadly speaking, two things can happen. One is, no, how it can be true. Not willing to admit, not being humble enough, getting hurt, not seeing the grain of truth in it. The second can be humble enough. Even though mind is rebelling, saying, no, it is not my fault, is there a grain of truth in it? Maybe it's my blind spot. Maybe I am not able to see. Maybe I am not able to perceive. According to me, it is all right. According to me, my behavior was correct. According to me, it is perfectly right to get angry in these circumstances. Is there a grain of truth in what other person is saying? If that be the case, let me accept it and admit my mistake and become a better devotee. If this is our mood, this is our consciousness, if we are humble, if we are grounded, we are willing to admit our mistakes, we are willing to ask forgiveness if we have made a mistake from others, then we'll quickly advance in Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada will be pleased, we'll get his blessings. And in line with what is being told here, if accidentally, unknowingly we displease someone, we just forget. Ask forgiveness. And if that is our consciousness, that is our thinking, feeling and willing, then definitely in the community of devotees, when we are saying, as I said, the benefits are great. Every moment, every step, we have opportunity to please Vaishnavas, to please Prabhupada. Every moment we can enhance our Krishna consciousness. And pitfalls also are there, risks also are there. So let's be cautious, let's be careful, take full benefit of the opportunity which Srila Prabhupada has given us and protect ourselves from possible pitfalls. We'll stop here. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.